Today is day 11 of 365 Days of Jung, and the topic is finding our gold in inferiority, superiority. Okay, so from a Jungian perspective, confidence comes from the integration of opposites. Whatever those, they might be the opposites, like I'm really energetic and active and very motivated, and I'm lazy. Or I might be very honest, or I might be a liar. Or I might be a thief, or I might be someone who always earns what I get. So when these opposites come together, when I accept them completely, wholeheartedly into my psyche, into my identity, they come together and they mix up and they act upon each other and they change each other, and something new comes out of that. And that, what we call that new, is consciousness. So all of that creates a sense of confidence and a lack of fear. Now, if we feel superior to somebody, it suggests that we have projected our negative qualities upon them. They may also have their own negative qualities, but we're projecting our negative qualities upon them, and so we look down upon them. And these are just qualities, they're not like universally negative. They're negative because we, in our identity, consider them negative. So I might also project onto people these negative kind of life wants, these big dreams, okay? The things I wish for, I want, my big desires. And so, for example, if I think about who do I consider myself superior to? Well, I consider myself superior to people like developers who don't seem to care about the land, just are all about making money. Superior to anybody who has anything to do with just strictly making money, all their jobs that they do for just making money. Bankers, real estate people, car salesmen, these people who, stockbrokers, these people who a lot of them own the big houses, make the big money, and their life is just really all about making money. So I consider them quite inferior. I'm quite superior to them. And all that suggests that there's this life want in me that I projected out onto them. And so I could work with that. But today I want to look at this whole notion of feeling inferior also. So for feeling superior or inferior, I've projected onto people life wants, dreams, wishes that I consider really positive, okay? And so when I think about the big wants in my own life, one of them was I wanted to be a Zen monk. Or like a Benedictine monk, a Trappist monk, like Thomas Merton. And so that want, I just considered it so positive, such a holy and pure and really anti-materialistic want. Now, I went so far in that, I spent a lot of time in monasteries, I worked with Zen masters, I did sessions, worked with some monks, Father Keating up in Snowmass, but I never became a monk. So what's interesting is when I think about who in my life do I feel inferior to, which is not a good feeling, who do I feel inferior to? Now that's a sign, just like superiority or inferiority is a sign that I have projected something onto someone else. So what I've projected on these people that I feel inferior to is one of my, what I consider positive life wants, like becoming a monk. So 3 of the people I feel inferior to are all monks. So they have accomplished, they have taken that journey and they've accomplished it, and they are living it out. And since they're living out this positive journey, I see them as superior to me. And so essentially they are carrying my gold, the life want that I had, just the same way as the people I feel like I'm superior to. So bankers and stockbrokers and developers, these are people who are doing the same thing. They're carrying what I consider a negative life want, and so I look down on them, for being superficial and being just simply about money and no real meaning in life. Be a nice thing to have a lot of money, or some money, right? Okay, so the notion is this, though. In terms of feeling inferior, I have projected what I consider a positive dream of mine to become a monk onto other people. And these other people have their own wants, but they're also carrying my want. So they're carrying my gold. Okay? And so as carrying my gold, one, it's just really helpful to recognize, bankers are carrying my gold that I consider negative. And monks are carrying my gold that I consider positive. But it's all my gold. And when I start to retrieve it, when I start to bring it back and accept it in myself, then it starts to become some healing, and I don't feel inferior and I don't feel superior. So let's just take the inferior part. What do I do with that? So practically speaking, first I can look at, okay, so who do I feel inferior to? As an example, I'm going to pick, okay, so I feel inferior to these 3 monks. What are they living out? They're living out my dream to be a monk. Okay, well that already feels kind of good. They're living out my dream to be a monk, and their own dream to be a monk, but they're living out mine also. So what can I do? One, I can say, thank you very much. I appreciate you've done that. 2, I might look at, what can I do is it fear? Is it some limitation that's keeping me from living out the goal of being, the life want of being a monk? What is that? Is it my understanding of being a monk is too narrow? What is that? And so rather than feeling like a failure on that journey, and like, Gandalf came to the door and I told him, no, I'm not going on that adventure. And then I regret it, right? So in Jungian terms, we call that unlived life. And that unlived life can go very bad, can make us feel very inferior. So how can I go back to living out some of my life want to be a monk? Well, I can start thinking about, well, what sort of steps would I need to take? And what exactly does that mean? And how am I already living it out? And so I can start to take back some of that, okay? Now, that might be the biggest part, right? Just seeing, okay, how can I actually live some of that out? It's a funny thing about these life wants. I may have not actually decided completely these are something I want, but they're wants. They've emerged from our psyche. They're part of our self. This is something that wants. And I think I can conversely look at the notion of, well, these opposites of being a monk. And probably, the vow of poverty is a big part of being a monk. Probably these people who are all about making money is almost the opposite of being a monk. So I think to start to work with those opposites might be helpful. So let's leave it for there. Let's leave it there for today. It's the end of day 11, 365 days ago.